Just want to make a couple of brief comments. First, we think that the budget forecast that we're looking at today is good news. It's good news for the people of Minnesota. It's good news for Minnesota families. I just was looking at the document itself, and the first sentence, Minnesota's budget outlook for the current biennium has improved materially since last February's forecast. And I think in many ways this represents a confirmation of the wisdom of the Republican majority's approach to managing the state fiscal situation that we inherited 2 years ago. And you might recall that 2 years ago when we were all here in this room or somewhere in the Capitol, the headline there was we had this huge $6.2 billion deficit that we were looking at. Today it's 1.1. And so if you look at all in, everything considered, we're $5 billion better off today than we were 2 years ago when Republicans came into the majority after years and years and years of DFL leadership in the legislature. So that's what we believe that we did in the last 2 years, is we took a situation where we had a pretty dramatic situation to try to deal with. We did that by managing the growth in spending, enacting what we felt to be reasonable reforms. We did not increase rates of taxation on the economy. We knew we were in a recovery. We knew that those things, in our belief, added to the burden on the economy to recover. We did not want to do that. And since we've done those things, we've seen the economy respond. We've seen revenues exceed the forecast. We've seen the spending actually improve. That hasn't been as much as we had actually forecasted it to be. We've also refilled the cash flow accounts, the reserves, and we've also restored or paid back a significant portion of the school aid shift. A large part of that, by the way, was passed by the DFL majorities under Governor Pawlenty. So the challenge that we face is obviously to create the conditions that allow the economy to recover, to create jobs for the people of Minnesota. We don't know what's going to happen at the federal level with the so-called fiscal cliff that we're looking at, but I think that to suggest that we need to grow the spending of the state budget beyond the 5%, $1.7 billion increase that we're looking at right now is not productive. If we would offer any advice to the new majority coming in, is to look at what the approach that the Republican majorities took in this, which was to be prudent, to not overburden the economy, look at reform, live within the means that the public has already provided, do the right thing, and we should be able to find ourselves in a position of fiscal surplus. In fact, the document shows that everything staying as it is today, we should see a surplus in the out biennium. So we don't believe that we need more tax increases. There's always a lot of talk about that, tax rate increases. We've heard the governor and others, outside groups, talking about $6 billion in additional tax revenue. We think $1.7 billion is enough, 5% increase is enough. Maybe it's even time to think about tax cuts as a way of stimulating growth in the economy.